Freeman Hospital in Joplin opens a new unit for COVID patients transitioning out of the ICU. Missouri officials provide new details on the governor's vaccine incentive program. Missouri's Attorney General announces a settlement with Johnson & Johnson over their role in the opioid crisis.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A late developing story: the Carthage Police Department recovers a body from Spring River. This is KOAM News at 6. Authorities believe the body is that of Thomas Whitaker of Carthage. Whitaker has been missing since July 6th. The Carthage PD is conducting a death investigation and waiting on pathology reports to confirm the identity. Joplin's Freeman Hospital adds a 3rd unit to handle COVID-19 patients. Freeman's Director of COVID Services says the new unit is in response to the increasing number of coronavirus patients they've seen over the last month and a half. The new COVID unit will assist coronavirus patients who are transitioning out of the intensive care unit. Freeman is currently caring for 46 COVID-infected patients, and the new unit will help deal with the pandemic that's requiring more and more of the hospital's resources.
With this addition of the 3rd unit, this now represents about 20% of all of the bed capacity that Freeman has for just one diagnosis, just COVID patients.
You'll learn more about how Freeman is tackling the rising number of COVID-19 cases in our area tonight at 10. We're learning more about Missouri's vaccine incentive program. Now, we first told you about the state's incentive yesterday, where 900 residents will win $10,000 if they are or will be vaccinated. Today, state officials spoke to media in more depth. KOAM's Zach Dodds joins us in the studio with more.
Thanks, Dow. Health officials say the incentive is already accomplishing a lot, with more than 100,000 residents signing up. The state health department says residents have to sign up because they don't have records for residents vaccinated in another state or through a federal program. So you have to register to win. If you do win, the state says that you cannot remain anonymous. That may confuse some, since the program is being done in conjunction with the Missouri Lottery, and a new law in the state does make it a misdemeanor crime for lottery officials to ID winners. But officials say this isn't a lottery, and talking about winners is a big part of the program.
This program is structured so that we can show people being successful and winning prizes across the state, and people can see that they have the opportunity to do so. And if that is not publicized, then then we would lose the effectiveness of that.
The state will publicize winners' names and what city and county they live in. We've also learned more about cash incentives that local health providers will be able to give to those who get the vaccine. As part of Missouri VIP, $11 million in grant funding from the CDC will be distributed to local health providers. They will be able to give each person who gets a vaccine up to $25 on a gift card. Joel Dermott at the Barton County Health Department says, according to what the state says right now, departments will have latitude in how they administer the program. He says otherwise, though, there's not many details, and he's not sure yet if Barton County will participate.
Gift cards are great, but you would like those dollars to stay local if you can. And so we're not sure how that's going to work. It's got the potential to be a nice little program, and it's got the potential to be difficult to administer.
Dermott says the state would like the program to start next month. We'll of course have more details on the vaccine incentives as they come out, and we'll have these details and some more on our website tonight. That's KOAMNewsNow.com.
Zach, thanks. That brings us to today's KOAM News Now Insta poll. How do you feel about financial incentives to get a COVID-19 vaccine? Do you think it's a good idea or a bad idea? You can vote at KOAMNewsNow.com/vote or through the KOAM News Now mobile app. Results are updated live, and we're going to check in on them later in this newscast. Right now, let's check in with Doug Hetty for a first look at the weather.
Well, of course, it's been on the warm side over the past couple days, heating up a little bit more as we work through the week. And we have had a few isolated little tiny showers that have popped up. Very tiny, and these are going to really fall apart once we lose the heating of the day. Most of the more persistent rain is down to our south across parts of Arkansas and Oklahoma and even parts of Texas. Still warm, most of us mid to upper 80s, and if you factor in the humidity, you get the wonderful heat index, the way it actually feels, about 90 to about 92 degrees across the region. As we go through the evening hours, we drop back through the 80s, 70s. Most of us will bottom out at about 72 or 73 degrees, so a fairly mild night, but the heat really kicks back in over the next few days. We're going to look at that here in just a bit.
All right, we'll see you then. Authorities arrest a man who could be connected to bank robberies in both Kansas and southwest Missouri. The Miami County, Kansas Sheriff's Office says officers have arrested a suspect in the Monday robbery of Landmark National Bank in Lewisburg, Kansas. Now, earlier this week, Joplin police were investigating whether it was the same man who later robbed Great Southern Bank that same day. Surveillance images show a robber wearing similar clothing driving a white car. In both cases, formal charges are still pending. The Missouri Supreme Court has vacated a lower court's decision in the state's Medicaid expansion case. The High Court says the voter-approved plan to offer Medicaid to more people should stand. The Cole County Circuit Court argued that the plan violated the Missouri Constitution because it did not provide a funding mechanism. This came after Governor Mike Parson refused to implement the plan when the state legislature didn't fund it. The state Supreme Court disagreed, and now the case will head back to the Circuit Court. The expansion is expected to add Medicaid eligibility for up to 275,000 Missourians. Missouri's Attorney General Eric Schmidt today announced a major opioid settlement. Under the settlement, Johnson & Johnson will pay out $5 billion in total to all states that agreed to the terms, and the multiple distributors will pay out $21 billion in total. Missouri could receive just over $500 million combined through these settlements. These settlements will be record-breaking for the state of Missouri. Coming up, a federal judge temporarily blocks a ban on gender-affirming treatment for transgender youth in Arkansas. Plus, workers at a Little Rock hospital talk about the fatigue they're dealing with as COVID patients continue to stream in. A federal judge temporarily blocks Arkansas's ban on gender-affirming treatment for transgender youth. The American Civil Liberties Union filed to stop the ban on behalf of 4 transgender adolescents in Arkansas, as well as 2 doctors who provide gender-affirming care to trans youth in the state. The ruling means for now, Arkansas won't be able to begin enforcing the ban on July 28th, the day it was set to go into effect. The state's GOP-led legislature enacted the ban in April after overriding Republican Governor Asa Hutchinson's veto of the measure. LGBTQ and medical advocates strongly opposed the legislation, citing fears it could have significant negative impacts on the mental health of trans youth. COVID-19 cases continue to rise rapidly in Arkansas. Hospitals across the state are dealing with a constant stream of patients, leaving many workers feeling fatigued. Reporter Mercedes McKay has more from the University of Arkansas for Medical Sciences Medical Center in Little Rock.
You can't just go home at the end of the day and erase it out of your mind. You're seeing faces, you're hearing cries of their loved ones. It's just a 24/7 emotional roller coaster.
Fatigue, frustration, exhaustion. That's what these 3 healthcare workers say they feel daily.
Because we've been in this for a while, it's almost kind of like picking right back up. I hate to say that, and I have to say as a leader, it's a little frustrating because we were hoping to see a little bit of light by now.
A glimmer of hope they saw for a minute, but once the Delta variant arrived, the light was gone, as the patients coming through the doors never stopped.
It was one right after the other, and all of a sudden our capacity started filling up, and we knew we were in for a ride then.
Respiratory Director Jeff Halpert says the deja vu hit him hard.
It became really real to me that we were revisiting this again when I had to bring more ventilators into the hospital.
As a team manager, Kristen Link says it's nothing like she's ever seen in her 31 years here.
The hardest part, trying to keep the staff motivated. Emotionally, it's tough. It's tough because Every patient is extremely sick.
The extreme amount of sick patients is why ECMO coordinator Carmen Eakin says 12-hour shifts are things of the past.
A common thread you hear is, I wasn't able to use the restroom until 4 p.m. today, or I haven't had lunch all week. So that is hard to hear.
Behind the doors, within the hallways, it's all hands on deck, while the heroes behind the masks are just hoping the end is near.
When you look at the screen, you just see numbers or you see graphs, but every single one of those numbers had a family. They had a loved one. They had parents or children that won't ever get to see their faces again.
I have to salute those medical workers on the front lines. According to the Arkansas Department of Health, the state has had more than 5,000 new COVID-19 cases in the past week. Later, we're going to head to the Allen County, Kansas Fair, where they're hosting a baby barnyard.
Plus, it's getting hotter outside over the next few days. We're going to check that out coming up. Another warm, very humid day for us today as the humidity has been going up over the past couple days, plus our temperatures have been going up. But if we look at July as a whole, our temperatures have been just below average for where we should be for this time of the year. We've had mainly days sitting into the mid to upper 80s, but the 90s will really pop in over the next few days. All right, another hazy evening. That's due to all the smoke that is in the lower atmosphere from the fires out to the west. Hot and humid over the next few days. Random little thunderstorms. Of course, you can get my long-range forecast on my month-long blog. That is KOAMnewsnow.com. But let's look at that smoke. You can actually see it across the region, a little bit thicker once you get through the Ozarks, central parts of Missouri. And as we go through the evening hours, you're going to get that very hazy look, and the sun will look redder during sunset due to that smoke. Still a little bit around for us tomorrow, but as our little upper level low rotates out, it's going to kind of take it with it. So by the time we head into the weekend, we'll get rid of the haziness across the region. Temps right now mainly mid to upper 80s, so it's warm. Humidity has been creeping up, so heat indices right around 90 to about 92 degrees. Through the evening hours, we'll slip back through the 80s, 70s, eventually 72, 73 degrees for an overnight low for us tonight. But most of us have been dry. We have had a few tiny little random isolated storms that have popped up or quick little showers. Not a big deal, but once we lose the heating of the day, once the sun begins to set, any of these little guys out there will dissipate, then we'll have clear skies tonight. The more widespread rain is down through central parts of Arkansas, but here's this weak little wave. You can see the counterclockwise circulation. That's what's firing off these little tiny showers, but we're mainly dominated by the other circulation, the big upper level high across the central parts of the Rockies. As that gets a little closer to us, that's when our heat will start to pump up over the next few days. Tonight looks good, lower 70s. Tomorrow, a little bit hotter. I think most of us about 90, 91 degrees as we go into the afternoon. 72 to start, 86 by noon. High temp right around 90. Again, there could be a random isolated little pop-up shower during the afternoon. Tomorrow night looks good, back into the mid 70s, heat up again. By Saturday, a little bit hotter, lower 90s for highs, and again, a hit or miss, quick little shower across the region. Heat indices also go up. The way it actually feels to your skin, it's going to feel about 95 to 97 tomorrow afternoon, even a little bit hotter, right around 100, maybe 102 by the time we head into Saturday. And watch this big upper level high. So let's go into Monday, into Tuesday. It starts creeping toward us, so it takes that heat dome right on top of us, and that allows our temperatures to kind of just sit into the mid 90s for quite some time, really. 90 tomorrow, 93 Saturday, 95 on Sunday. Again, that very a few random little isolated thunderstorms, but if you have outdoor activities over the weekend, it looks pretty good. It's just going to be very hot and very humid.
Heat dome sounds like a bad futuristic movie I don't want to see. Thanks, Doug. Still ahead, 2 women in Kansas City are on a mission to walk 100,000 steps today. We're going to hear from them about why they're doing it. Folks in Allen County, Kansas kicked off their county fair today at the fairgrounds in Iola. Today's events included county fair staples like cow, sheep, and pig shows and a baked pie contest. The fair also had an event called Baby Barnyard, which is a petting zoo with a wide variety of animals.
We try to educate them on the different breeds of animals. We try to have as many moms and babies as we can so that they can see them, and we let them pet the animals, and we do a craft project, but we just try any questions they have. You know, we just try to answer them and help them learn about the different animals. Yeah,
Quite a variety of critters there, as you see some cute ones included. The Allen County Fair runs through Monday. You can find information about all of our area county fairs, and there are a ton of them. They're on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. 2 women are walking 100,000 steps today. One day, 100,000 steps to raise money to provide free eye care to the homeless in Kansas City, Missouri. Reporter Alan Shope has that story.
High risks equals high reward.
It's 5 a.m. start, putting foot to pavement more than 100,000 times.
I'm not crazy, so I want to do that.
Around 14 to 16 hours later, these 2 super walkers are hoping to have raised $10,000 for free eye care for the homeless. The plan:
we'll eat a lot, we'll drink a lot of water.
And I'm like, wait a second, how many miles are we actually going to be walking?
Julie is an optometrist that works with Hope Faith. She says few things are more important when you need them than glasses and eye care. That's why she's wanting to walk to raise money for free eye care Kansas City.
You know, it costs a lot of money sometimes to get your eyes examined.
The pair says they're going to be walking around 45 miles on Thursday. That's like from here past Topeka. They say the key: a good attitude and good shoes.
You know, it's going to be mentally exhausting, physically exhausting.
We're both pretty hyper people. Potentially wear a second pair of shoes if needed.
Both say it's going to be a long day of nothing but walking, but they'll find a way to make it a walk in the park.
And knowing us, we'll take breaks. Maybe have a beer here and there.
Step after step till they reach their goal.
Walking's great. Everybody should get out there and walk.
Gotta have spare shoes in case of a blowout. The women have created a GoFundMe page where people can donate to support the mission. So far, they've raised $7,800 out of their $10,000 goal in last report. We'll be right back. Take time now to honor a local veteran. James Howie served in the U.S. Army Air Corps from 1942 to 45. His hometown, Parsons, Kansas, and we salute Lieutenant James Howie, a 4-state hero. You know, you can learn about lots of other heroes, hundreds of them. They're from all across this area. You can look them up by town or by name. It's very simple. You just go to our website. It's KOAMnewsnow.com. Jordan Albee joins us now with a look at what's coming up tonight on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
Tonight at 9, going to hear about plans from the city of Joplin to improve the intersection of 4th and Murphy Boulevard. Also, the Olympic Games are just one day away, but excitement is mixed with apprehension as COVID-19 cases there continue to rise. And going to preview a new movie that shines a light on the dangers of bullying. That, of course, much more coming your way tonight. KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
All right, let's check back in now with our KOAM News Now Insta poll. We're asking, how do you feel about financial incentives to get a COVID-19 vaccine? At this point, more than 7 out of 10, 71% think it's a bad idea. You still have plenty of time to vote at KOAMnewsnow.com/vote or through the KOAM News Now mobile app. We're going to have the final results on the poll tonight on KOAM News at 10. Doug Hetty, the weather's creeping up there temperature-wise.
It is. 90s are going to return over the next, at least 10 days. 90 tomorrow, 93 on Saturday, 95 on Sunday. Also, the humidity going up, so those heat indices back above 100.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you right back here for KOAM News at 10. Let's make it a great evening.
Salon service is